All right. Well, welcome, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the Rejoice Christian Eagles Coaches Show, coming to you from our Owasso Coffee Company, located at 13721 North, or East 86th North here in Owasso. And once again, they're staying open late this evening. So if you're watching this show right now, zip down here, get you a buy one, get one free during the Coaches Show, any of their hot, cold drinks for this evening's show. I'm Bill Bush, joined along with my wingman Mark Kirk, and tonight we're joined by a couple of seniors here before we bring Coach Marlin, Coach Willis in. Caden was here on the last time we had the seniors, but for some reason the computer didn't like you and cut out your interview, and of course Sammy wasn't able to make it. So we wanted them to give a chance to really kind of talk about what we did, talk about the other seniors. I mean, obviously you guys were excited after this week's game, but, you guys are close to this man's heart because he played D in high school, played D in college, and so he loves the defensive guys on that side of the ball, and he's trying to get me to –
That's where all the aggression's at.
That's right.
Ball, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So Mark had some stuff, and he was just, curious, wanted to ask you guys.
Well, it's been great watching you guys as you've come along for the year. It's just been fantastic to watch you guys grow and get better and better every game, it seems like. But I know it's kind of tough when when you have to play on both sides of the ball. You got to be on your offensive mindset and defensive mindset. And I wasn't kidding about that. Defense is a different mindset, and offense is much more about repetition. Everybody's got to do their own job, obviously, every time. But in defense, it's about getting to the ball and stop and run, stopping the pass, whatever you got to do. What's been kind of the most difficult things for you guys? I mean, being on a smaller team where you are playing on both sides of the ball a lot. Do you have to be in better conditioning for it? Is it something that just kind of comes naturally, or what do you think, Sam?
I mean, I feel like just conditioning is just a part of it. I mean, going both ways. It's a smaller school, so we're going to have to play a little bit more than most other schools and kids. And I feel like we're well prepared for it too. So I think our coach has done a great job of getting us prepared for both sides of the ball if we have to play both sides. And yeah,
you guys do cycle in and out quite a bit, but how often do you come off the field? Are you on for special teams, or?
I mean, I am on for special teams, I think. Or, yeah, the majority of the time I am. and then defense.
I know when you're out there.
Yeah. Let me think. Yes.
Yeah. And then offense, I rotate in at pretty later on if Colton's getting a cramp or something like that. Got to help him out. So.
Absolutely. Caden, how about you?
One thing I would say, I haven't noticed this year. I feel like I've been better conditioned than any of the years previous. I think a lot of that has to do if I haven't been playing as much offense, been able to focus on defense.
Yeah.
But one thing I have definitely noticed is playing special teams all the time. Starting on kickoff. I love doing it. It's one of the most exciting feelings. It's running down for kickoff coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But when
when you make the tackle.
Especially.
Oh yeah, especially.
You just get a long run at that guy. When you're playing linebacker, it's like, you don't have that very short run, but you got a long run coming down there.
The one thing about it though is you got to run all the way down the field, and then by the time you're ready for defense, which is right after that, you're already out of breath.
Yeah.
So especially when.
So you probably also like it when Price kicks it in the end zone, and that way it's touchback.
That's much better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, you don't have to worry about making the tackle that way, but man, he's definitely a weapon. That's for sure. And it's kind of been also very interesting to watch how that plays out and watch how Rejoice on their kickoff and really how they handle that versus most everybody else that you guys have played. They don't have a weapon like Maverick to be able to rely on to get that ball deep. So they have all kinds of different odd kickoff strategies.
Yeah. So, Kate, what is, being a senior, last year was a tough year, first year in 2A, limped into the playoffs, and then, we don't have to go over what happened then, but what's been the biggest difference this year for your senior year than what has been the last, especially the junior year and before that?
Well, defensively, I feel like we've matured a lot. Seeing everybody around me kind of grow up and play to their potential has really been a neat experience. And I'd say one of the huge things that's helped us is Coach Eckel coming and coaching now. Something about him, I think, is just giving the defense a lot of confidence, which was really something that we lacked last year. Not that we didn't have the talent, but I think our guys, a lot of them were younger and just, didn't believe that they could do well in a lot of situations. And so now, we know we are a dominant defense, and we're playing like it a lot more than we did last year.
Yeah, and Sammy, you guys obviously defense has been key this year. I mean, it was key in last week's game against Sperry, and we'll talk about that a little later in the show. But I mean, what's been the biggest difference that you've seen from last year and this year, and why are you guys excelling so much?
Definitely just the unity and the brotherhood with everyone. I mean, everyone just all into the process, and we're just all there for each other. And if someone makes a mistake, just someone's right there, right to help them right up. So I think that's been one of the biggest things.
Up to now, I mean, obviously, you guys, the season's not over, but what's been your favorite memory? What's your best memory of either football memory? Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to your whole school career, but what's been your best football memory here at Rejoice?
I think whenever I got to play against Okmulgee, I think that was really fun. The announcer called me Slingin' Sammy Armentrout, so that was a little fun.
Slingin' Sammy.
That's good, yeah.
And Caden, yourself,
I
best
would
memory?
probably have to say the cash-in game. You know, last year was a lot of fun. That was the first time I really got to play quite a bit, but we didn't win a whole lot. And it didn't feel like
It was a little tougher last year.
Yeah.
I was not, I don't think any of us were really confident in our ability. But this year, we came out game one and beat Cashin in a tough game. And that's really, I think, when we proved it ourselves, that we had what it takes to win and be competitive in the game that we love.
Well, guys, good luck tomorrow night. First round of the state playoffs. Now you guys are jacked and ready to go, and just wish you nothing but the best luck.
Yeah, keep going playing the same way.
Of course.
All right, guys, thanks for coming out tonight. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Let's
Thank you.
have a hand for these guys, these seniors. All right, well, welcome back. We're joined now by Coach Wilson, head coach Marley. And, guys, what a game last week, and what a way to finish
We're
the
saying
regular
that a lot.
season.
It seems like we're saying something.
Yeah, every game. What a
game.
game. But I mean,
it was a good one.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. I mean, we went over there to Sperry, and Sperry is a good ball club. I mean, they're a good ball
Definitely.
club. And but once again, for the most part, the team came out ready to play. I mean, from the beginning, came out, and in the second half, they just came out ready to play. You could tell that they were into the ball game. So, I mean, when you're riding over, or actually, before you get out there, what are you telling the players, that they know what's on the line? So what are you telling, Coach Marley, what are you telling your players as far as, all right, guys, here's what we got to go do?
We repeat a lot, and so it's the same thing I think I said on the show a few weeks ago is guys just go out and make this game, important but not special, and just have fun tonight. Great atmosphere. Sperry, Oklahoma's got a lot of tradition. They've been a perennial, 2A power. They won state 3 years ago in 2A, and we had the opportunity to go play at their place and take something from them. I think they were picked. We were picked third at the beginning of the season in the district, and I don't know if them or Adair was first or second, but it was Adair and Sperry 1 and 2 in some order. So we had the opportunity to go do that and just go have fun and take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, and we'll talk about Chance here in a minute, but I mean, the defense. I mean, you had guys like Sammy, who was he and Caden, but here are the two guys, the senior, couldn't have been better to have those two guys up here. But
That's planning. That's
yeah,
good planning.
it's you're welcome. But I mean, they led the team in tackles. You had Caden, who went out and had I think 5 solo tackles, 2 for a loss, 7 assists. Sammy had 4 tackles, 3 assists. But the defense had a bend but don't break attitude. 2 huge interceptions. I was talking to Sammy before the game that if those turn around, actually it was Cannon Brown that came in, and some teacher gave him homework, so he couldn't. Yeah, so he couldn't.
There was a football game this
Come
week?
on now.
No comment.
We're gonna, yeah. So he had to jet. But, I mean, we talked about how, that's those two plays. You don't have that interception, I mean, because they're marching down the field.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's Coach Eckel telling his defense as far as, and because the second half turns around and they're not as successful on the ground. What do you tell them at second half? What adjustments were made?
Well, when the bullets start flying, literally, and the game really starts, the alignments and the things you worked on all week, it seems so easy. It's a little more difficult. And when they were breaking and running formations and just recognizing what they're doing, and they moved the ball down the field really well in their opening drive. And, if you remember, Coach Eckel, we called a timeout when they got down in the red zone.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
And just try to get everybody settled down and do your job and focus on your keys. And it was just a couple plays later that Josh Hendricks stepped up, made a big pick in the end zone.
Yep.
And shout out to his dad sitting right over here. But Josh had two big ones, and I think that just that turnover was huge at that point because offensively, then we came out, and I know Coach Wills talked more about that, but it was even I heard our defense coordinator, Coach Eckel, today say at practice, man, our offense Friday night at Sperry was just a machine.
Probably
That's
glad he's
exactly
not having to defense against our offense.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, but you do that during practice. It can't do anything but make you better.
Yeah, and we know who normally wins on that deal too. I don't know if I should say, but he might say. Yeah.
Well, and we you talked last week about how they had some really good, skilled, talented players. I think it was number 1 or 11. Every time he caught the ball, it was like, okay, somebody pull him down because he's slippery.
Yeah, he was very slippery.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, able to dial up something that, again, bend but don't break. He would get a few yards, and then we'd tackle him, and then eventually make a punt.
Yeah, like Coach Willis, I think, mentioned this on the show last time, but for high school football teams to drive the field methodically, 70-yard, 80-yard drive, it's very difficult for them to do that without eventually making a mistake. I wouldn't say so much them making a mistake. I would say on our part, we feel like we've got some playmakers in the defense and the secondary, and they drive the ball long enough, eventually one of our guys is going to make a play.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we saw.
Right. Yeah. Like I say, 2 interceptions in the end zone. One of them, I got to ask you because I'm sure you had you talked to Kale after the game at home. Whenever he intercepted the end zone, and all of a sudden, is he going to bring? No, he's going to. No, he's coming out. What was his thought process? Did he share that with you?
Well, first off, I almost ripped my headset off because I thought they caught the ball.
Oh, really?
I thought they caught the ball, and I thought he got beat deep. I was getting ready to throw something.
No.
And then I realized they were bobbling it, and he just kind of took it.
Yep.
And then he said he was on his way out, and Bryce Rivard said, "Stop,
Look down,
take a knee." And he said, "I stopped," and I looked. I was already out of the end zone, and so I started running again. And
and last week when he intercepted it right for the half, and he was going to try to run it out.
Yep.
And it was a big conversation of
verse 8 area.
Stay in, run out.
Yeah.
Hey, nevertheless,
it turned out well.
But that's one of those. Yeah, exactly. I think Josh had Did he have back-to-back interceptions per series?
He did. Yeah.
I mean,
first quarter. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, at the beginning of the game, Mark was saying, "All right, well, it looks like we're going to have our player of the game there." I mean, we were talking about another defensive player of the game, of course. Then, when we'll talk about him, Chance Wilson had, I think, maybe, especially because of the talent he was up against, maybe his best game of the year.
Yeah.
He came out just looking at his stats. I think he had. Let me pull him up here.
It's big numbers.
Yeah, big numbers. He was 18 for 23 and 1 interception.
Yep.
And I remember the interception. You going? It was right there. We were in the box. We were fortunate.
we were all together.
We're all together.
I think the linebacker snuck in underneath him, and he just didn't see him because it was a good pass to him.
Yeah, well, right to him.
So it was actually
right between the numbers.
Yeah, right. But he was, 18 23, 1 interception, 242 yards, 3 touchdowns. He rushed 12 times for 160 yards.
Right.
4 touchdowns.
He thought he was a tailback.
Yeah, exactly, and so did apparently the players because they weren't able to do anything with him. So he had touchdown runs of 11, 7, 8 yards, and a long one of 55 yards where he went around the end and broke away. Once he gets out in the open, Mark and I have talked about that several times. You're not going to catch him. He's
pretty quick.
Well, it's
just so funny
deceiving.
to watch the people taking angles to get to him. That's nowhere near the angle you're going to have.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just goes right on by.
But I mean, he accounted for 402 of the 483 yards and had a hand in all 7 of the touchdowns.
Right.
I mean, could you have asked any more of your quarterback? Other than don't mention
Did throw
interception.
the interception.
Well, we were trying for no turnovers, so I could ask a little more. But, no, I mean, like he said, it's the same thing every week. We got a lot of great players, and, he's the distributor, and, we trust him to get the ball in those guys' hands, or a lot of times keep it in his hands, and good things are going to happen. I'd like to say that's how we expected all those plays to be designed and ran. But,
on paper,
that's
on paper at least.
Yeah, but that's a blessing of having that ability. But no, he played great, and I think, like I said, Coach Marley likes to defer a lot at the beginning of the game, which is good. There's a strategy to that, and we win. But I enjoy having the ball.
Give me the ball.
Because when we score first, we usually start rolling, and it goes in bunches. And, and we did, and luckily, we had the turnovers right back to back.
Right.
And allowed us to jump way ahead, and from
You're
that
going,
point on.
good. We're going to do offense again.
Right. And it's tough to catch up.
Yeah.
Chance had a whale of a game, but I think the line had a lot to play in that as well, as far as giving him the ability to have that game.
Oh, yeah, and it's a luxury to be able to just throw the ball up, and you got receivers
You got
there.
receivers out there.
And that's what I tell them. I said, just trust those guys. I said, if you're going to throw it short, because they'll go get it. And we had several that did.
And
watching Jay jump.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
timing those jumps, it was spot on.
6 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that one that he had that was in the end zone. I thought, okay, well, he's overthrowing him. No, he didn't. Anybody else
we
could have been
practiced
overthrown.
that down there at
That was
receiver drills.
yeah, exactly.
Every day.
Well, it worked. I mean, so just keep
good job.
practicing.
Good job, yeah.
No.
But I mean, and then of course we, got Isaac Barnett. What a bruising back he is.
He's fun to watch.
I mean, he just says, all right, one of you guys going to try to tackle me? Well,
Right.
good luck, and just powers his way through the line.
Yeah.
Freshman.
Right. And
he's
all
a senior, right? No.
Yeah.
No.
Looks like one.
Right. No, all 3 of them. And right now they're all, since they split time, which is a luxury
Keeps
as
fresh
well.
legs, yeah.
And that's what we told them. They're all hungry, and they run hard when they get in there. And so, Isaac ran hard, gets downhill in a hurry, and just adds another dimension to our offense.
Well, and speaking of going back to Jay, I mean, teams have double teamed him almost all year long. This is one of his first real against, productive games. I mean, as far as finally being able to not be bottled up as much and making some big plays.
Yeah, and I mentioned to him after the first couple games that you should look for it to happen. It's going to happen. People are going to try. But, again, we're pretty dynamic in all other parts of the field, so you got to pick your poison.
Exactly.
And they got a connection, and, I think he's confident in every single one of our receivers. If they get that same look that he's going to take it and he's going to try. And most times they make that play. So,
So just want to remind everybody we're down here at the Owasso Coffee Company broadcasting live, and they are our Coaches Show sponsor this year, also our touchdown sponsor. So they get a lot of mentions during the game, obviously. So, we'll be down here next Thursday night. And so we want you to join us live again before the game. After we win tomorrow night, we'll advance on into the I've already got us winning.
Oh, okay.
We'll advance on to the next round. We'll talk about that a little bit. But if you're out and around this week, anytime, come by here and grab a cup of coffee. They're hot or cold drinks. Let them know that you heard about them or saw them mentioned on the Coaches Show, and just let them know how much you appreciate them sponsoring the show, because if they don't sponsor it, we don't do this. I mean,
Exactly.
and it's a lot of fun for us. It's also, get informative for you guys.
And you come in and get out of the cold.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they got a nice digital virtual fireplace burning over here on the corner. So
Absolutely.
great place.
I felt it.
So, Coach, I mean, I know you guys have goals for each game. You also you have a goal for the beginning of the year. Here's what you want to accomplish. I think this game you got to didn't you put a sticker on every board? Is that the first game?
Well, on the How to Win Games board, I think we got 5 out of 7 categories. And
what'd you lose in penalties?
Penalties was one.
Yeah.
And
you won on turnovers.
Yeah, you won.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was one more that I think we tied on.
Because first downs, I know you guys whooped them on first downs.
Yeah, there was one more. I don't know.
Third down maybe, or
yeah, I don't know.
They definitely won on the score side too. So
Right.
the biggest goals though.
that's the main one.
But the main
main goal, that's So the biggest goal you set at the beginning of the year is obviously, you want. I think it was to go beat Cashion. I
Yeah.
mean, that was like your
Win
first
game
goal.
Win game
Yeah.
one.
Win game one, and your next goal was to win.
We wanted to beat Adair,
And
Yep.
you did,
and then we wanted to be the district champions.
and you are.
Win our first district ball game.
Win
I
our
think.
first district
Yeah.
ball game. So
Did that.
the next one staring at us is POTD. And everybody asks, well, what does that mean? And that's practice on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
kind of a step, you
Yep.
know.
If you're
and,
practicing on Thanksgiving Day, then you're having a successful season to that point.
Yep.
Definitely.
So how does it feel? Because last year, you limped into the playoffs. You were able to, but you had to go face the 2A state champion of last year, the back-to-back state champion, Metro Christian. You guys, I mean, just like right into the fire. So what's it like this year? And is this kind of what you expected to happen this year?
When we walked away from Metro last year, just to be honest, I mean, I set up a meeting with Mr. Pepin and had a kind of a plan of attack, a vision. And I was thinking, I don't know, we're 3 or 4 years away from being able to be a premier team in 2A. And here's what we need to do. And he was very gracious and listened, and our administration, and we went out and hired, a couple more coaches and added to our staff. And we noticed in 2A we'd go shake hands, us 5, and then there'd be 9 or 10. And that's just more eyes,
Right,
on the field and more help. And so we hired some coaches. Of course, the blessing from Mr. Gibbs and the Lord blessing us with the facility was great. We didn't really add any. We had one kid move in from out of state that as a sophomore has helped us a little bit, and he will in the future, but really haven't had any kids move in or transfers. Like some people think private schools just get loaded up every year and
All the recruiting you guys do.
recruiting
Yeah,
and
it's,
all of that. No, I mean these kids have been there and but they were like Sammy or Caden said earlier. We were young last year.
Yeah.
We were freshmen and sophomores predominantly.
Right.
We only had 5 seniors. And so now we're juniors and sophomores, and we sprinkled
Still
in a good
young.
freshman class. Yeah. So it's been the turnaround of what I was thinking would be 3 or 4 years has happened faster than I thought, but we're not done yet, though.
No.
You still
Oh,
wonder,
no.
like, how good was our district? It was great beating Adair and Sperry and perennial 2A schools that are like that, but we've got a lot more left to do. But however, I mean, if the season ended tomorrow night, the world would say we weren't successful, but for these boys, they did a great job. It's a great step from a year to a year to keep going to another year, but they're not ready for it to be over with tomorrow night, and I'm not. And we talked as coaches Sunday night. The biggest thing for us is we don't really, right now, we talk a little bit about holding up a gold ball, but as coaches, that's not we love these guys. We love being together. They love each other. We love our Sunday night coaches' devotions. We don't want this to end.
Right.
And so we just want to keep staying together. I mean, I go Saturday morning, they come in for weights and film. And by Saturday night, Sunday morning church, I'm like already having withdrawal, like from them
Yeah.
and my coaches. And I'm wanting to get back together. And I know my wife feels otherwise. But anyway, it's just a great group. Love being around them. And I think that love and that relationship is really what's bled over into us, having the year we've had so far.
Well, and I noticed last week when you were here, you had your district back-to-back champs. You're going to have to get a new T-shirt. Now
Yeah.
it's going to have a 2021. District 2A 8 champs has a nice ring to it.
It does.
I mean, you guys had to – I mean, obviously we were on the field. You guys – I know you wanted to be out there and stay out there all night. Sperry had a different idea and said it's time to go home.
Yeah,
and
the lights.
all of a
It's dark.
sudden
It
we're
was
in the
just-
dark.
Daylight savings
I think
came early.
I think they have a curfew over there, and
Right.
so we were probably
that's
out
probably
past
Sounds
curfew.
good.
And so.
Sounds good. Whatever.
That won't happen at home tomorrow night. We walk
Stay
off.
as long as you
win
want.
it. That's right. Stay and party as long as you want. So, talking about how tough is our district, the other 2A7, that district is tough. You've got the last year's state champion in it. You've got Beggs, who everybody knows about them, and they're talented tailback, and of course he's also playing in the secondary. And then you've got Victory, who beat Beggs,
Right.
and then you've got Kiefer. So how do you go into thinking, okay, well, we're a first place team, we're playing a fourth place team? I mean, how do you keep the boys from looking at first to fourth?
Well, and we kind of talked about it a little bit Monday, that you don't know. I mean, you never underestimate an opponent. And we told them Kiefer, there's a good chance they could have finished second in our district. You don't know.
Right.
They look good on film. They play well. You don't know what would happen. So once you get to the playoffs, everybody's 0-0.
Yeah.
Brand new season.
We've been a 1 seed before and lost. And
Right.
so it's no fun. So we don't look at that, and we tell them, you win or you go home.
Yeah.
So there's no other
you're
option.
one and done now.
Exactly. So
You're one
you
and
can't.
done. There's not
don't
next
take
week.
anyone lightly. And so we're not going to.
Yeah. So, Coach, what's been the conversation this week as far? How's practice been this week leading up to tonight?
It's been good. Last week we were really loose, and I like the way we came out. And so we've been loose again this week, and it used to bug the fire out of me. But I've just kind of let us remain, as long as when we're in, the ball's being snapped, we're honed in, and guys are running things right and trying hard. In between plays and practice being a little more loose, I think that the way they came out Friday night, especially offensively, and then once we started getting the turnovers defensively too, but I'm like, you know what, these guys play well that way, and I don't want them to be puckered up, and so anyway, yeah. And for these guys, tomorrow, like Coach Willis said, Kiefer, we have not played them yet.
What do you expect out of them, out of their offense?
They're very balanced. They throw the ball pretty well. They got a big quarterback. He runs it well. He's hard to bring down. They've got not that one phenom kid that they hand the ball to or throw to, but they've got 4 or 5 kids that their offense is one of those, they wing motion and will fake it and dive it or fake it and run the wing trap back the other way. And there's all this
similar to Adair?
cross, similar to Adair. Well, more like Claremore Sequoia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just all this crisscross action and where'd the ball go and who's got the ball. And then they may do all of that and fake to 3 guys and then play action and drop back and throw it deep. So everybody's got to, do their job and play their responsibility.
How's the quarterback? How's it at throwing the ball?
He's accurate. He can get going against Victory. They scored 42 points against Victory. It's 50-42 in the fourth quarter, and they've got a chance, and they turn the ball over, and Victory goes down and scores one more time and makes it 58-42 or something.
Yeah, 42-58. That's a 2-touchdown ball game. And
Yep.
like you say, you flip one of those scores around, it's a tie ball game.
Right.
And so you're looking at some of their scores. They beat Okmulgee 56-8. They've got some. Their only losses were to the 2 teams above them. Yeah. And so when you only lose to Victory and Beggs and Metro, they beat everybody else, including some 3A teams. And so, you just can't go and sleepwalk against them. What's your offense going to be able to do against their defense?
Well,
What do you hope to do?
not turn the ball over.
Good start.
That's always goal number 1. We kind of have a balanced attack as well. We have a run game plan. We have a game plan where we throw the ball more. That first quarter, I like to see what they want to do. Exactly. I'll run a lot of formations, see how they align, see what they want to play, and kind of build from there and see what direction we want to go. But I expect them, to play fast. They don't, like I said, they don't have a kid that's just blazing speed. I don't know. I hadn't timed them all. They're faster than me. So, but they get to the ball and they tackle well. When they played Beggs and I watched that game over, they tackled really well. And that's a tough team to tackle.
Tough team to tackle.
Exactly. So, but again, if we play confident, we come out. We're going to give ourselves a chance, and that's all we can ask for.
So, Coach Marley, I ask you every week your keys to victory. What are some things that you just have to do tomorrow night? We already know not turn the ball over, obviously, right. And so, but what do we got to do on?
I just think getting some stops early and getting a lead early. I think them having to play from behind, they're not going to quit. I've noticed that on film. They fight till the end, but I also think that their offense is built, not like a heavily spread passing attack. They're a little bit more controlled when they, fake the run, play action, they throw it. So I think if you can get a lead on them, it may be offensively a little tougher for them to get back into it and say maybe a spread, hurry up, no huddle team.
Yep, and you got some plays up your sleeve in case you got to use them?
We
You don't have to tell me what
by
they
week
are.
11, we got so many darn plays we can't even practice them all. I got so many pages we got to flip to.
Come on, guys, just one more hour. I've
time.
got a few more we got to
Right.
go over. Well, it should be a big game tomorrow night. We should have a standing room crowd only. Rejoice, as you fans have done a great job all year long of supporting these guys, getting them out there.
Showing up on both, whether away, at home,
Yeah.
especially at home, obviously. Yeah, it's just fantastic.
Definitely.
Fantastic group.
So let's make it a standing room crowd, because that 12th man, that noise, these guys, they feed off of that.
It makes a big difference.
It really does. I mean, especially when all of a sudden you get momentum going your way, the crowd's into it. They're up there on third down or fourth down, cheering on the defense. And so come on out tomorrow night. I mean, if we don't if you're in the local area, we'd rather have you out there than watching us tomorrow night on this YouTube channel. Obviously, we've got grandparents up in Kansas.
In Kansas, also we got some folks in Arizona, Duval family in Arizona, watching us tonight. So
Right.
we got people all over everywhere.
All
So
over.
if you can't make it.
My parents are in Alabama. They watch every
In
week.
Alabama.
There you go.
My parents are here in
Yeah,
Owasso.
and you're an
They're
LSU
watching right now,
fan.
too.
LSU fan from Alabama.
I was born in Louisiana.
All right. Well, so join us out there tomorrow night. Let's have a big crowd. Let's get these guys on and cheer them on to the next round of the playoffs and look for a victory tomorrow night. And make sure, again, that sometime this week you come by and grab you a cup of Joe down here, as we really appreciate the Owasso Coffee Company being our sponsor. For my wingman, Mark Kirk, for Coach Marley and Coach Willis, I'm Bill Bush, and you've been watching the Rejoice Christian Eagles Coaches Show on this Rejoice Athletics TV channel. Join us next week. Actually, join us tomorrow night as we bring you the game. And this show will be replayed for the pregame tomorrow night, probably starting about 6:20. So good night, God bless, and go Eagles!
Right.